All right, let's go. My name is Monica Madrid. I'm with Football is Sexy, and I am so excited for this podcast. It already started, by the way, because we've just been having a great time. But I need to let you know who I have here. I have a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, Patriots Hall-of-Famer, one of the most dominant defenders in NFL history. He holds the record for the most career postseason sacks and most sacks in a single game. A true legend, repping the LBC, but most importantly, a girl dad. And soon to be, whether he knows it or not, my new friend, Willie McGinest.
What's up?
What's up?
What's going on?
Dude, I am so happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dude, this is going to be so much fun.
Yes.
I already know. I already love your energy.
Thank you.
But before we get into your amazing career, all the things going on in the NFL today, I feel like we should let them know how we met. Because it was kind of wild. Do you want to start?
You can start.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Girls, y'all will relate to this. I never leave the house without at least a little gloss. Always get your earrings on, at least the studs. But this time, it was like on a Wednesday or a Friday. I don't know what day. It was a weekday. And I need to get my brakes on my car. I needed to get my, It was a Thursday. Yep. Okay. And I needed to get my brakes done. I was like, down the street. I'm like, no one's going to see me. I'm just going to go. I had my slides on. Like, I never leave the house like this. And zero makeup on. I leave the house. They take my car. I go, oh, I'm going to go across the street and have a bite to eat while I wait for it at Polly Pies, of all things. Polly Pies. They should sponsor this segment. But, and then I'm walk in and I see this beautiful woman. I don't know how old she is, but just I gravitated towards this woman. She had the cutest fly sweatshirt and sweatpants to match. Yep. And I literally looked at her and go, see, why didn't I wear my cute sweatsuit like she did? Because she looked so cute. And I started talking to her and I said, where did you get that? You look so great. I complimented her.
Yeah, you did.
And then I realized, and I go, well, look at my sweatshirt. It's like yours. And we have this little sweatshirt conversation. She's so nice. And all of a sudden my head goes like this I look up and there's this guy and he's got his glasses on and he's talking real brief. And then it just one of those moments where you're like, he looks familiar. I don't know who this guy is.
I've seen him somewhere.
I've seen him somewhere, but I'm at Polly Pies on a Thursday. Right. I am not thinking football. But I kept looking at you, and I think he finally looked at me and smiled like she might figure this out. And I think I said something to your mom. I'm like, who is he? I know him. And your mom smiled, and I don't know how I figured it out, but I think your mom said, this is Willie or something. And I don't know how we figured it out, but I ended up realizing you were the badass from Long Beach with 3 Super Bowl rings.
And Polly Pies, I mean, how crazy is that? But actually, I was running some errands with my mother in the morning, and we were, she had some appointments, and I'm the son, the Uber, and I like to, spend time with her. So we were running some errands and running around, and it was my birthday. It's actually my birthday.
Yes.
So this is how I'm spending my birthday morning, which is amazing and great for me because I get to spend time with my mother. And she's like, baby, do you think we'll have time to stop to get some breakfast? I'm like, of course. Because she knows I have things going on and I'm busy. I'm like, Mom, we got whatever you want to do, let's do it.
I love it.
And there's a Polly Pies down the street. Yeah. That's where we happen to go to that one. And that's one of her favorite spots, one of our favorite spots that her and my dad, they like to go to for breakfast. And we pulled in, and she's the social butterfly that she is, always talking and saying hello. We walk in, we see you, and everybody starts talking, and that's kind of how it happened. And it was very nice. I mean, thanks for being so nice to my mom. You know how it is these days, and she's just in there hanging, doing her thing. And she knows, like, I don't like all regardless of what level you play or I just don't like all the attention.
Right.
Especially when you're hanging with your mom and just chilling. And she knows I like to be low key.
Right.
And she kind of was like, wanted to say, well, you don't know, because she's a bragger.
Right.
She'll brag.
Yeah.
You don't know who my son is and this and this and that. And I'm always like, Mom, just, let's just hang out. Let's just move around and do what we need to do.
Right. And I remember I wanted to be real respectful of your time with your mom.
Yeah.
I didn't want to keep you there too long or anything like that.
Fine. It was cool.
Because it was important. Because I know I'm just always respectful about people's time, especially when they're with their family. But I was like, I went back to my booth. I was by myself. I'm like, this is wild. This is wild. I'm like, I gotta ask him to be on the podcast.
And I saw the shirt. And I asked you about the shirt, like football is sexy. I'm like, what's up with that?
Right.
And then you told me, I have my own show, my own podcast, this and that. I was like, all right, that's cool. I like the swag. And then you started talking about, I'll get you a shirt or my mama's shirt or something. And we're sitting in the booth. And she's like, don't forget about my shirt. I said, I'm not going to forget about your shirt.
It. And guess what's sitting right over there?
It's sitting over there.
I'm a woman of my word. I hooked up Mom, and we're going to hook up your daughters as well. But chance meeting, but I believe that there are no accidents.
Right.
I really believe that. If I would have been 30 seconds later, we would have never met.
It's already been seated, and you probably would have went to your seat. Yeah,
we would have never.
Facts.
So I really believe we're supposed to be here today and talk so much about all the things. There's so much to talk about. But before we get there, tell me a little bit about, your background. I know you're from the LBC.
Yep.
I always like to say, what did it sound like back in your world, in your day? We talked a little bit about it before the podcast, but tell me a little bit about your high school day. You went to school with Snoop and Cameron and Warren G, I think?
I did. Well, Warren wasn't there, but he grew up in the city.
Okay.
And there were a lot of entertainers and great athletes to come through Long Beach Poly. And of course, that was the Mecca. That is the Mecca to me. I know things have changed, but that is the Mecca. And growing up in Long Beach and playing youth football, that's where I met Snoop, youth football, and that's where I met a lot of people that, are instrumental in my life. You had to be in sports. Yeah. You had to stay active. The Boys and Girls Club, football, baseball, basketball. It's a city of active kids that are active and doing a whole lot. So, I grew up in Long Beach. I went to Long Beach Poly High School. I played football, basketball, and baseball. Ended up quitting baseball a little bit later because it was a little slow for me.
Right.
But that's where it started. And that's where, it all came together for me, being in sports my entire life since I was 6? Okay. 6 years old.
So you played from pretty much early on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you were a really good basketball player.
I was.
Right?
I was.
And you could have gone either way, right?
Yeah. And, I had a dual scholarship actually at USC.
Okay.
When I was playing and, under George Raveling when he was the coach there. And the only reason why I didn't play basketball is because I think I got dinged up a little bit my freshman year playing football. And I was just like, I'm just going to heal up and I'm just going to stick to football. I knew that was my true calling.
Right.
And I knew that was the sport I really wanted to excel and go further in. Mm-hmm. Basketball, I don't know. I love basketball. Mm-hmm. I still watch it. I used to play even in the off season during football. You still go out there to the rec and play with your friends and all that. But football was my calling. I think I made the right decision.
I think you made the right decision. So we have a little something in common. Okay. I'm just saying, shout out to McPherson Junior High. Okay. I played flag football before it was cool. And back in the day, you could be all the things. So I was quarterback, I was wide receiver, and I was a punt returner.
And you could do it all.
I could do it all.
You football, I think I had 5 positions. Right? I was all over the place.
Right? I loved it. I loved the game. And back then, and it's kind of a full circle moment, just talking to you, I'm realizing, had there been something in place, I might have tried to do something, because I really loved playing flag football back then. I really did. And I was good at it. I was short, but I was fast. And then I did play a little basketball. I'm not trying to brag, but I might have broke 4 records in high school. Might have. Shout out to El Medina Vanguards. Freddie Freeman went to El Medina, by the way. But yeah, so what was your moment when you're like, I want to do this full time, forever? Did you ever have a thought of what you might have been if you didn't go into football?
It's a little different now, I think. I was still a kid in youth football, so I was always enjoying like having fun, the process and playing football and being around friends. You know, that was the one thing that kept you, you know, out of trouble, out the
Yeah.
streets is playing a sport and having some organization in your life and knowing you had to get up and do something,
Yeah.
responsibility and all those different things. So I think my parents, I thank them all the time for keeping me in something constructive.
Yeah.
I started in T-ball, that was my first sport, and then it was youth football, and it was basketball. So I felt like I never had time off.
Right.
I never had enough time
To
off.
get
Now,
into
did I get
trouble.
in trouble and all that? Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
But I never had enough time off. I was always in a sport and active and doing something. And I think it's so important for kids these days to understand that. Put down the electronics, put
Yeah.
down the phones, and
Right?
get active into something. And I think that is what shaped me and who I was, because I always felt like, okay, I don't have time for this. I got this. I always had a schedule, and I always
Right.
was on point. And it was always fun to me. So to your question, I never thought about, oh, I want to go pro in this. So like some of these parents and these
Right.
coaches are crazy now because they're looking at young kids as prospects versus building, developing, and saying this is something, you know, to teach you, you know, life skills and everything
Yeah.
else. I didn't think about going to pro or
Right.
doing all these different things. I just thought about I'm having a good time. I'm in sports. I'm with my friends, and I look forward to that. And
Yep.
I know if I didn't handle my business outside of that, I wasn't going to be able to do that
Yep.
because my parents were going to take it away.
Yep.
So that made me get in line quick.
Yep. And same with me, believe it or not, the accountability.
Yes.
I'm such an advocate for sports. It taught me so much perseverance. I have a story about when I broke my leg sliding into third and how I wanted to become MVP of the year, but you had to become MVP of the year. You had to play all sports.
Right.
And when I broke my leg, they thought I wasn't going to be ready in time to play volleyball. And I remember I was like, oh, hell no. I'm gonna get this cast off and I'm gonna be ready to play volleyball just to give me a shot at MVP.
Right.
So just those things, like it motivated you. And like probably you, I had the one goal in my house, the one, thing is I had to have certain grades if I was going to play.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, we say no books, no looks. So
There
if
you
those
go.
grades ain't right, guess what? You're not going to practice. You're not playing in the game.
Yep.
And, there's so many opportunities for these kids to do so many great things, but they got to understand you don't have all those things if you don't have the classroom. They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I tell the kids all the time now that, you got to have the grades, because if you don't have the grades, you don't have an opportunity to play any sports.
Right.
And it makes sense. They go hand in hand.
Right.
And what you learn in school and all those different things, I know everybody has their own, avenue, and they all, what they're going to do further on in life. But it all starts there. Sports don't last forever.
Right.
So you got to have some type of foundation.
Right. And when you were in high school, were you in the same grade as like Snoop? And
Snoop's a year older than me. Cameron's the same
Were
year
you
as
guys
I am.
friends or hang out?
No, we were friends. Yeah, we were friends before high school. Like I said, we played youth football.
Okay.
So that's where
It all
all the
started.
kids in the neighborhoods and everybody you meet on the football
Got
fields,
you.
or you meet on the playgrounds.
Yeah.
Playing sandlot
Yeah.
football or sandlot basketball. That's where you meet. Those days everybody's going outside. Everybody's always outside on your skateboard, on your bike.
Were you ever
At
rapping?
the school ground? No, never rapping.
No. Did you break dance?
Nope, I didn't break
No?
dance. I enjoyed it. I mean, there was a
Okay.
lot of local
So you were a
groups.
straight athlete.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was a straight athlete. I was never a dancer.
Okay. I'm going with that.
I know where you're going.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I know you can move. I already know.
You got to be able to, you got to be able to move.
You gotta be
do a
able to
little
move.
something.
So when did you decide that Fight On was going to be your theme song in college?
Probably my last year. It was one of those situations where I had every school, recruiting me.
Right.
And I just kind of got tired with the process. The one thing that was important to me was my parents being able to go to games. And we wasn't in a position for them to fly around the country. And a couple of guys that played at, Long Beach Poly, Mark Carrier and some other guys went to USC. So they were a great school. I think they had just won the Rose Bowl my senior year.
Right.
It was a great place to get your education. and all those different things, and it was right there in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So it was between them, Colorado, and a couple of other schools. And I just got tired of the whole process. I didn't want to fly around all over the country. And I just said, this is the spot for me. My parents would be able to drive to the games and see me locally. And it was a great place. The weather, of course.
You can't beat the Cali weather.
You can't beat it.
No.
You know, there's a lot of things that played into it. But for the most part, I wanted my parents to be able to see me play. I wanted to go somewhere where I was going to get a great education and have that balance of great football. So USC was a no-brainer for me.
I love that. Yeah. Well, in disclaimer, I begged my sister to go to USC because while you guys were, at USC, I was on the Soul Train center stage. That was everybody was
entertaining.
Entertaining y'all. Okay. A lot of people go, well, what college did you go to? I'm like, Soul Train. They're like, so I never heard of that. University? And I'm like, no, Soul Town University, baby. Don Cornelius. Let's go.
I love it.
Yes.
Did you watch the special that they did? The whole Soul Train. They had like a little docuseries about that. You gotta Google and watch it.
You know what? I think I was supposed to do I don't know. I have to talk to Eric about that.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
I was supposed to maybe do it. Yeah.
You're gonna be like, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my girl. Oh, that.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
So early 90s. So when you were literally at USC, I was there. It was kind of a trip. But so talking about college, when you were playing versus now, the NIL.
There was no NIL.
Right. How do you feel? Because you didn't have to deal with that. You didn't have. Some people say
it was just different.
It was maybe underneath envelope.
Here's an envelope, or hey, pull up here. You might see a bag with a little something in it. Whatever the case may be.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't legal. We'll say that.
And it wasn't as much. I mean, it's crazy now.
What do you think about that today?
I think it's great. I think that players are able to share in their name and likeness, and they're getting, they're making money. In college is tough.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't come from money. College is tough to be able to eat, buy clothes, and do all the things you want to do. I also think that it needs to be governed a little bit better.
Okay.
I don't think the NCAA was ready for everything that was going to happen when they implemented NIL. I don't think anybody thought that kids would be making more than coaches and actually guys in the NFL. You have some college players that are making more money than guys that are actually playing professional football.
Right.
So I think it's great for college, for college kids. I think it's great for the sport, but I just think it needs to be governed a little bit better. I think there needs to be a certain cap.
I was going to say
there's certain cap to an extent.
Yeah.
That way you still have a difference between college and professional.
Correct.
I think there needs to be, a difference in that. And going forward, but it just needs to be out of, sometimes now with the portal, NIL, and all the different things that it factors into, it's kind of, in some respects, out of control, but in others, it's good. It's good for the athlete. It's good for the parents, because now you don't have to rush into making a decision of trying to go pro or doing something based on, not having enough to support your family and things like that. But the NCAA, they benefited so long from jersey sales, name and likeness, and all this. Why not have the kids?
Right. It wasn't fair.
Sharing profit. So
it wasn't fair.
No, it wasn't fair.
But I do think we do miss a little bit of the element on that draft night when they're already got millions in the bank.
I know.
It's not as sexy.
I know.
Let's be honest. But
it's different. I mean, I agree. It's different.
So I get both sides, but it wasn't fair. And I think you're right. Maybe it can be governed just a little bit more so that there is still that payoff for the NFL. You are able to eat, take care of your family, and all the colleges aren't making all the money off of you. You know, what do you think about Reggie Bush?
Which part?
The
whole thing with the Heisman and this and that.
There used to be billboards out here. Give him his trophy back.
Reggie is probably one of the most what's the word? One of the most inspirational football player of his generation. When you bring his name up and you see kids light up and what he did in high school, what he did in college, I think the punishment didn't fit the crime.
Right.
To be honest, whatever took place, the facts of what happened outside of what kids are actually getting paid for now had nothing to do with the on the field things that he accomplished.
Right.
I think people look at, oh, well, he needed help. He was doing this. He was doing that. And it had nothing to do with his ability or his athleticism or the plays he was making on the field. It didn't give him an advantage.
Right.
So I understand what the rules were in place. I just thought the punishment was too severe.
Yeah.
And I think if you're the best player on the field regardless, and you're not taking illegal drugs and you're not doing anything illegal to enhance your ability to make you the best player in college, why are you tampering with the trophy you get for that?
Right.
You know,
right.
If you punish the school for saying, oh, yeah, he did this and this and that, whatever the case may be, and those things take place, like I said, I don't have all the rules in front of me, but I just don't think it added up, you know, to what took place.
I feel like there's room where they can make that right.
Well, they're doing it now.
Yeah.
So now it's showing that these kids are getting paid way more money than he took.
Right.
Or whatever
way
the case
more.
may be. Way more.
Yeah.
So you're saying he was ahead of his time?
Right, pretty much.
Or a lot of these kids, I can go down the line of all the schools
I'm sure.
that were paying, these players, showing up in Corvettes and living lavish life and doing it, finding different ways to take care of players to get them to come to school.
Right.
And it wasn't the school, it was an outside company.
Right.
So, I mean, there was a lot of things that play into that I don't agree.
Right.
And I just think the punishment was too severe.
Right. Well, there's a lot going on in college right now. And
there is.
We mostly talk about the NFL, but I have to ask you, what are your thoughts on the whole Lane Kiffin thing?
What I think with Lane, first of all, he's put himself in position because you got to win. To have these conversations, you got to win. He went to a place, and he's been to a few places,
right?
And he's done pretty good. And he went to Ole Miss. He did what he needed to do. He built up a program. He did something that the school had never done ever before. 11 wins. They're in the playoff, and there was an opportunity. Now, you say as a person, or as a coach, or whatever the case may be, even in free agency as a player, you always have to make the best decision for you and your family.
Right.
Sometimes it's not going to be the popular decision for everyone.
Right.
But I think because of Lane's history and some of the interactions he's had with different universities or people or whatever the case may be, it comes off a little bit different. But there's a lot of coaches that were at major universities. Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame and left and went to LSU.
Right.
Like, I can go down the line of all these coaches that sought out.
Even Deion got shit for going to Colorado.
I mean, and he was at a HBCU.
Yeah.
He went there. He did his thing. He built the program for a year or whatever the case may be. And here's another opportunity knocking at the door. So people make decisions based on what's best for them. It's not always going to be the popular vote for fans and for everybody else in that situation. But I think Lane put himself in a great situation. He's at a great university. I think the resources are going to be abundant. He's going to be able to now attract, get more players on a bigger scale, on a bigger level.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
Now,
here's the thing. With all that said, with the contract, with making that big move, you got to win.
You better win.
You better win. Because if you don't win a national championship, you are going to be under fire. Because there's other coaches that came there and won it.
Yep.
So he's got to win that. The expectations is high.
Speaking of expectation, how did you feel going from, we're going to talk about, but like going from college? Because I guess that leads me up to, you ended up getting your name called and you became a Patriot.
Yeah.
You went from Cali, cool weather, to freaking freezing Boston.
I know.
Was that transition difficult? Or what was the biggest, I guess, the hardest thing going from college to NFL for you, if there was one?
It was tough because you're not, New England, you're like, New England, I'm from Cali. And the weather, it's seasons. They go through every season. So that's it's different. I think it's beautiful seeing the trees turn, the fall, the winter. It lasts a little long. But the winter and then summer, it's blazing hot and humid and all the different things.
Right.
And then going on the other side of the country was, it was a little different for me, but I adjusted and it was fine. When you're a player and you're going somewhere and you get drafted, you have a great team around you. And I have to say I had a great team around me. My agent, Gary Uberstein, and the people I had around me made the transition. They helped me, kind of figure things out once I got there to make it easy for me to just kind of focus on the football part of it.
Did you have an idea of where you wanted to go? Or did you, I
thought I was going to Dallas.
Because you were fourth round.
No, fourth pick.
I'm sorry, fourth pick, first round, fourth pick.
I thought I was going to Dallas, fifth pick.
Really?
So here's the story.
That's what I was going to say. Tell me.
So here's the story. I was at my draft party. I elected not to go to New York. I was at my draft party in Marina Del Rey.
Okay.
I had a party. And
I knew you were my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dallas had reached out before the draft and said, hey, we're going to move up. I think they had the 26th pick or whatever the case may be. We're going to trade Alvin Harper, our receiver, up, I think, to the Rams, and we're going to take the fifth pick, which I think the Rams, somebody had that fifth pick.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, okay. So a lot of times, a lot of these deals are worked out with the agents and whoever the case may be, if they think they're going to be in position to take you. So I had like 3 Dallas Cowboy representatives at my party with the Dallas Cowboy hat at the party.
Everything.
Hat in hand, everything. So we were partying with New England. I spoke to Bill Parcells one time. I went on my visit there. We had a great conversation. I didn't hear anything else from the Patriots or Bill Parcells. So at my party, I had the music on. We were partying. The draft was on. And I thought I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy, fifth pick. Lo and behold, Bill Parcells and the Patriots call with the fourth pick. So we turn the music down. The phone rings. It's for you. It's Bill Parcells.
What?
And I was just like, what's up? He's like, hey, Bill Parcells on the phone. You're going to the Patriots. You're going to New England. They said New England. I said, what the fuck is New England? I'm going to New England. And I thought, I was like, oh, I'm going to the Patriots. Right. I was like, wow. We had the conversation. He was like, hey, you ready? You ready to go, kid? And this and that, typical Bill Parcells. And I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm excited. And you don't dictate where you go in the draft. I wasn't going to say, no, I'm good. I'm going to go to go to Dallas. No, I don't want to go there. Of course I want to go there and play for Bill Parcells. You coach my favorite linebacker, Lawrence Taylor.
Right.
And the representatives from Dallas picked up, grabbed their hats, stormed out of there. They were upset. Jerry Jones slammed the phone. It's all on social media. Slammed the phone down, and that's how I became a New England Patriot.
Wow, that's crazy. So they thought you were locked in at 5.
I thought I was locked
Everybody
in.
thought you were locked in, but no. See, but that shit goes crazy.
It worked out.
Did it?
It worked out.
It did, because look what happened.
Yeah.
You ended up, you started out with Parcells and Drew Bledsoe and ended up with Brady and Belichick.
I know.
I mean.
That's nuts.
Dude, 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
Okay, there's so much to unpack there. What was the difference in your mind between playing under Bill versus, Parcells.
It was Parcells, Pete Carroll, and then it was, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, so what was that like, and how did you feel going from USC to Boston?
It was a culture shock, I would say, but like I said, I adjust well.
Right.
It was fine.
Yeah.
They take you in. They love their sports in New England.
Yeah.
And that became like the hub for winning championships. The Celtics were winning.
Yeah.
The Red Sox were winning.
Dude.
The hockey team was winning. We started winning like in a span of like 10 years. I don't know how many championships came out of there. So it was fortunate. And the fans out there, they have some of the best fans in sports. They love their sports. So that part was great. For me, being a Cali kid, I just fit in. I just figured it out. I just adjusted, did what I needed to do because I was excited to be able to be drafted. And then there's an expectation. When you go top 5, you gotta perform. And you got to go out there and do what you're supposed to do because the average life of a football player is 3 years, 3.5 years. So
they retire at 27.
Yeah. So the expectation is high. You got to be ready to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to let my city down. I don't want to let my family down or myself down. So I went out there ready to go. And then, playing, the funny thing is, Belichick was the head coach at Cleveland when I came out. I interviewed with him. He flat out told me, I don't think you're going to be here at number 9. Cleveland had the number 9 pick. I interviewed with him. He said, I don't think you're going to be here at number 9, but if you are, we're taking you. So I had that in the back of my mind, like, at some point, I'm not going to be around.
Right.
I know
you're going to go.
I know Dallas wants me, and I know Cleveland wants. I didn't know what New England was doing until I got the call, but he happened to be on our staff. He got fired. Belichick beat us my rookie year in the playoffs. He ended up getting fired, which was crazy. He built a great team, great organization, and then he came to New England because they coached together with the Giants. Belichick was the linebacker coach with the Giants. So Parcells hired him. So I had Belichick there on our staff.
The incestuous part of the NFL.
Crazy.
Right.
In 96. And then we ended up going to another Super Bowl in 96. That was the first one we lost to Green Bay, where Drew Bledsoe was the starter. Belichick was on that staff. Parcells was on that staff. And the whole debacle of what happened there. Parcells ended up leaving after the Super Bowl, and he goes to the Jets. And that's how Pete Carroll enters the fold for 3 years. And then when Parcells tries to hand over the Jets to Belichick, he doesn't want to be there. Whatever happened there, he ends up getting hired back to the New England Patriots. So we had him back as a coach now as the head coach. The philosophy is the same as far as what they're looking for in a player, building a foundation. All those things are the same, but Belichick just had a little different twist on how he did things, his operations and everything else. But it was kind of like being under the same regime because they learned together and they coached together and they won 2 Super Bowls prior with the Giants.
Right. Probably the best thing he did was not take that Jets position. I'm just saying, don't come for me. Don't come for me. So now you're at the Patriots.
Yep.
You are, playing with the GOAT. I don't know if you knew it then.
Nobody knew.
No. You saw pictures of his
I know.
body. I don't know how else to say it. You know what I mean? But there's pictures where he did not look like an elite athlete.
Nah.
But it's here, right?
It's there, his mindset. And I think, we all go into the league and you have to understand you go from young men to men. When you go to the NFL, it's a different level. Everything about it is different.
Right.
And I think with Tom, his mindset was like, all I need is an opportunity. Like, I can figure everything else out. Physically, you can work out, you can get yourself together, you get on a better diet, you can hit the weight room, you can do whatever. But a lot of times you don't have that opportunity. But when you get that opportunity, you got to be prepared. That's why we always say opportunity meets preparation.
Right.
Get the opportunity, are you ready to go? He was ready to go. Unfortunate for Drew, he had the injury.
Yep.
And Tom was inserted as the quarterback. And, we were playing. We didn't have a great record. It's not like we was undefeated. We lost a couple games, but Bill Belichick had the innate ability to see something. And it goes even deeper because he had coached against Drew when we played Cleveland. So he knew, he studied Drew. He's on the defense. He's a defensive-minded coach.
Right.
So he knew Drew. When he went to the Jets and coached under Parcells, he coached against Drew. So there's a number of years where he had already watched Drew. Maybe he knew his ceiling. Maybe he knew a little more intel about him because we're in the same division. That's who you're studying.
Right.
So when it was that time to give, Tom the opportunity because of an injury, and it was time to go back to Drew when Drew got healthy, maybe he saw something we all didn't see. It was crazy. Drew Bledsoe had just signed for $100 million back then.
Wow.
That was in
That's
01.
a lot of money back, especially back then.
Back then, a lot of people wasn't signing for $100 million. He was one of the first to do it. So, of course, we're like, oh, when he gets healthy, it's his job back. Nope. Bill Belichick said, hey, listen, I have to make uncomfortable decisions. That's not always good for the individual, but I have to do what's best for the team. And this is what we're doing. Yeah. And everybody just like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to work. I mean, what are you going to say?
Right.
And Tom Brady was still, building his career, still, playing, but he wasn't like you called him the GOAT. He wasn't the GOAT right then and there, but he knew something. He knew that if I get this opportunity, I'm not looking back. And I think as a great player, having the right mindset and doing what you need to do, to establish yourself, he did everything. He worked his ass off. He didn't take days off. He worked harder than anybody. He put himself in position to not only take over, but to be one of the greatest to ever do it. And you gotta give him props for that.
100%. There were so many times, I'll be honest, I was like, please don't get the Super Bowl. Only because I was trying to protect Joe Montana's legacy.
I know you were.
I was.
You 49er fan.
I can't lie.
You
I got to keep it
49er
real.
fan.
But then I finally conceded, and I said, well, it just is what it is.
I know.
It just is what it is. And
the irony to that, he grew up
a big Niner fan.
Yeah.
And don't get me started.
And Joe Montana fan because he lived in the Bay Area.
Exactly. Don't get me started because I heard all the rumors that, I won't say, somebody in the 49er organization didn't want to give him a shot. And he ended
when he
up
left
going,
the Patriots?
Right.
Wow.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear it, but I know what he did when he left the Patriots.
He got
won
another ring.
Super Bowl.
He got another ring for Tampa. Don't get me started. Well, I know that there was a lot of Niner fans not happy because, and who knows if it was true, but those were the rumors we were hearing, is that Tom wanted to come play for the Niners after the Patriots, which would make complete sense to me.
He grew up a Niner fan. But you know who else that we heard was rumored to go there? Aaron Rodgers. He's from the... another guy.
Again.
When he was leaving, Green Bay.
Trust me, I hear all the rumblings, and the Niner fans have been through it when it comes to quarterbacks.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks, you hit a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. We talked about how Brady became what he became, but how did you become who you've become, which is one of the greatest to play this position? How did you take your game? As I heard, you lose two seconds going from college to the NFL.
Yeah.
The speed is much faster.
Yeah.
What made you so successful on the field in the NFL, do you think?
I mean, I would say I had great coaches. I would say that. I would say my mindset is when I went into the league, I always wanted to compete against the best. And the linebackers and the guys that played my position I looked up to was like Derek Thomas, Andre Tippett, Lawrence Taylor, guys like that. And those were Hall of Famers. Those are some of the best to ever do it. And I think for you to go in the NFL and compete and become somebody and make a name for yourself or be relevant, you got to work hard. You got to outwork people. You got to work hard. You got to do everything in your capability of putting yourself in position. And then you got to produce. The toughest part is when you play for an organization that's team first. It's not always about you. You got to do what's best for the team. So with my career, there's a lot of things that suffer, like maybe sack numbers, like getting to the quarterback, because the majority of the time, half the time, I was in coverage because that's what our defense was. You had to do multiple things. The position I played wasn't just rushing every play. Maybe 30 to 40% of the time, we were in coverage because we were versatile. We had to do more than just rush the quarterback, which is fine, because if that's what gave us the opportunity to win, that's what everybody bought into and what we did. So understanding that, working hard, trying to stay healthy. I had a couple years where I think during the Pete Carroll era where I was injured, you got to be on the field. So you got to be available to be able to go out and be productive. So there's a lot of things that factor.
The discipline.
Into it. It's tough. It's mentally tough, but you got to become obsessed with it. And I tell these kids now, don't just, the games are is the dessert. Don't become obsessed with the parts and the hard stuff, the working out, like the film study, the little things to prepare to put you in place.
Right.
So when you go out to the games, that's like the dessert. That's the easy part.
Right.
But you got to become obsessed with the process.
Right.
And a lot of people, they don't want to be dedicated.
They don't put the work.
They don't want to be dedicated to the process. And that's why you see a lot of great players are really talented players not excel or be consistent in the game.
And there's a lot that you hear about. Even these quarterbacks, which shocks me, where you're hearing them where like they don't want to they don't want to study. They don't want to open the book. They don't want to go to meetings. And it's just like, some of them don't even
Are you talking about a quarterback that's in your division?
Maybe.
I think you are.
Maybe.
You can call it what it is.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You know what I mean? It's wild to me. But he's not the only one.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. And when you get, and I think for people like fans like me, when we watch, we're shocked because we're like, you have this opportunity to be great. But sometimes I think some people are okay with just being on
the professional level goes beyond talent.
Yeah.
There's far more that goes beyond talent than you think. So you can lift all the weights in the world. You could be the fastest guy, whatever the case may be, but the game goes way beyond talent. I tell people that all the time.
Yep.
And I tell young players that all the time.
Yeah.
And they look, and then I break it down and be like, well, you're right. Because there's a lot of talented players.
Right.
But they don't all succeed or play for a long time or successful or consistent. It's because they don't do the other things. And I think when you look at, you mentioned Tom Brady, you start talking about his body and this and that. You can whip all that shit into shape.
Right.
But the work ethic, the mentality, all the other things, like that's priceless.
That's everything.
That's everything.
Really. It really is. Because how many times have we seen an amazing player that can't keep it together?
Right.
I could name a lot of wide receivers, by the way.
Quarterbacks, wide receivers, you can go down the line every position.
Because 100%. Yeah. As a matter of fact, did you just hear what happened with Diego? You know, he didn't win the Heisman Trophy. And just like, I'm like,
it's unfortunate.
Just like, there's just these are the things.
Sometimes you got to have a little resolve to understand, like.
And now he's apologized.
Yeah, I know.
A day late.
And whether you believe it or not, there's certain things you just can't say on certain platforms. And I think a lot of times now,
social
you
media.
need a restrict button or something on your phone to make you reread 3 to 5 times what you're about to hit enter on or send out.
Or how about 24 hours I'm on a free? I can't text if I wanted to. Like, give me a 24-hour timeout.
I know. And I'm sure he felt that right afterwards.
I know.
And the people around you have to also be like, hey, man, listen, use that as motivation. The great players that I know, when you don't win something or you're not the starter, where you feel like you need to be the starter or whatever, that's a fire that burns.
Yep.
You know, look at St. Brown. Look at the receiver from Detroit. He felt like he should have been a first rounder. You know what he did during the draft? He went out and started working out, and he said, I'm going to make the NFL, everybody pay who did not take me in the first round.
Aaron Rodgers.
And look what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh, he's killing it.
He's killing it. I think nobody had more receptions than him the last 5 years. He just broke a record. Yeah. And he's playing with the chip on his shoulder. Yep. Tom Brady's playing with the chip. You didn't draft me. I don't know. I'm not going there yet.
No, we're going to save it because we're going to get into it.
Yeah, we're going to save it. I don't know if he's there yet.
Be nice to my dance partner.
I'm going to be nice.
Okay, we're going to talk about it.
But he's not there yet.
No,
okay. All right.
I'm not saying I don't agree.
All right.
But we will get back to it.
You tried to slip that in.
I had to. I said, but you know what? I'm all about, we kind of talked about it. Like, I always love a humble player.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love confident, humble players. There's a fine line, right? But did you ever have like some good trash talk, just between you and I? Like, who was your favorite hit on a quarterback? Can you give me something?
It probably wasn't my favorite hit.
Because I always wish I could hear.
It probably wasn't my favorite hit, but it's who I hit.
Okay.
You know, when you hit Peyton Manning, it was the best.
Dude.
It was the best.
Right.
Only because he's the
Peyton
GOAT.
Manning.
He's the GOAT. Like, he's one of the best, like, competitive, like, smart, like.
He's funny.
Chess playing on the field. He's one of the best guys to ever do it. And I played against pretty much all of them. I played against Aikman. I played against Marino. Like, I played against some of the best quarterbacks to ever do it. Michael Vick. I can go down the line.
That was the era
of all
really,
the guys.
Honestly.
Yeah, I played against Montana. I played against.
Did you hit my boy?
I don't know if I sacked him. I don't think I sacked him, though. I played against Kansas City, Joe, when he went to Kansas City.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, Steve Young, I played against him.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of quarterbacks that I played against. Warren Moon. I can go down the line. It's some of the best to ever do it. So the reason why those guys are probably the ones you get the most, gratification out of hitting, because they were up here. They were the best to ever do it.
Do you remember, did you say anything to Peyton like, oh, man, I'm sorry? Or
he was a character. He talks shit.
He talks a lot of shit, right?
He talks trash, and he'll be like, okay, you hit me on here, watch, I'm going to throw a touchdown on the next pass or whatever.
With
Phillip
your name
Rivers
on
used to talk a lot of trash.
Phillip.
Who's 44 back in the league now, and I'm sitting here like, all right, Phillip.
Are you coming back? You're only 54.
I know. Why you throwing my age out there?
I'm sorry.
I'm 44.
Because it was your birthday.
I know.
44. He's 44.
34.
Okay, 34. You coming back?
No, absolutely not. But I mean, I tell everybody, they look at it and they be like, man, you look like you can still play. I said, what they're paying now, I wish. I wish I can come back. But hey, cheers to Phillip, man. He threw a touchdown.
You know what? Do you think he'll start next week?
I think so. I think they don't have an option. But
How do you think he looked?
He only practiced 3 days.
Dude, why? I was so happy. If nothing else, he got a touchdown.
Yeah.
And to see all his high schoolers.
You see that?
Yeah, that warms my heart.
That was great.
And
they got to figure it out for quarterback, though. I mean, you can't just keep bringing guys off the couch. And then you had Cam Newton talking like, "Hey, what about me? I was in."
Oh my God!
You had a lot of guys say like, "Hey, why not me?"
Right. Well, I mean, maybe they're going to start a whole nother league.
I don't know.
Here we go.
Guys over 35 or whatever.
Like the big three, but for like football or something. Who knows?
Flag. It would have to be flag.
It would have to be flag. Yeah, you got to watch the body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nobody's getting hit in flag.
Nobody's getting hit in flag. There's so many things that, I mean, we could talk about because, I mean, you have 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
Tell me about the first one when you won. Were your parents there? What was that moment like for you?
It was amazing. I think the biggest reason why that's the most memorable one is because nobody gave us a shot in hell to win that Super Bowl. All the odds, all the experts, all the gurus, everybody went against us because the Rams were so good. Mm-hmm. The greatest show on turf. Talent-wise, on paper, they had, I don't know how many Hall of Famers they got now, but everybody on that team offensively was explosive, big playability. And, you looked at what they had done the last 3 years. They were like, they had one of the top defenses. People don't know that. They had a top 3 defense to go along with the top 3 offense. So they were well-balanced and a great team, and nobody gave us a shot because maybe we didn't have enough famous players at the time, or we were this team that just somehow willed our way to the Super Bowl and all the things that were going on. But that was probably the most gratifying because of being the underdog in a huge way.
I love underdogs. I just love it. Did you get emotional? Were you on the field?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah.
I mean, be able to sack Kurt Warner and win the Super Bowl and the motivation we had going into that game, somebody heard their ownership and, their executive team showing off the rings they were going to get and have made after the game, before the game was played at a dinner in New Orleans. And that got back to us. You talk about motivated and Belichick and staff using that to motivate us. It's kind of like, but we were already hearing it.
Okay.
We're already hearing the disrespect and everything, even when we talk to the media about, do you guys think you could slow down the high-flying offense? And, you got Marshall Faulk and you got all these great receivers, all of them running a 4-2, 4-3, the fastest team, bro, the show. We just was like, yeah, they're a great team. We
kept it cool because that's the Patriot way,
that's
right?
That's the Patriot way. People hate it.
Yeah.
They hate it now, but it worked for us.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of teams that if they bought into it, don't have to be the Patriot way. It could be whatever team you are, your way. But you got to understand there's certain things, we just talked about saying the wrong things in the media to motivate, right? And being able to retract or kind of go back on that. So we were taught, hey, just shut up. Don't say anything. Let it build up. And when the game hits, we'll show everybody.
Do you wish you could have talked more, or were you okay with that?
I was
Because you
okay
seem like
with
a
that.
low key kind
Nah,
of.
I was okay with that because it worked for us.
Right.
You know,
On to the
I don't
next.
see any advantage of poking
The bear.
the bear and getting the team fired up and giving them headlines or motivating them before you play a game.
Yeah.
Now, once we got on the field, that was a different story.
Yeah. Come on,
say
you
whatever
tell me.
we say whatever we
I wanna
wanted to
know.
say.
Give me one. Give
No,
me
we
one.
were just talking. Like we would talk. We would be like, we heard about this, we heard about that, or when you get a big hit, or you're lined up and you're talking trash. Yeah. Everybody. You know, it's different then. Ain't no cameras. Ain't no cameras in our uniforms. Ain't no microphones.
Yeah,
Nobody cares about what the media is saying. Now we're in it.
Mm-hmm.
We're in it. We're going at it. So it's different now, but it was smart the way we approach things.
Mm-hmm.
And in practice, we would hear it. During the week, we would hear it. In our meetings, we would hear it. Clips and little exurgence from newspaper articles was put in our lockers by somebody. And you would go in your locker and you read it, hear what they're saying about you or what you're not, and how can they win or this, that, whatever the case may be. Like there's levels, to the game.
Right.
And if you have a really good team, you got to always figure out how to motivate them so they don't become complacent,
Right.
Watching volleyball, Nebraska hadn't lost a game all year. And they just lost in the tournament. They got reverse sweep, which means they were up 2 games.
Damn.
Texas A&M comes back and wins 3 games straight. And everybody thought if you had to put $1 down, Nebraska was going to take it all just because they're so good.
Right.
And they got hit.
Yeah.
So when teams are good, you got to figure out when players are great, you got to figure out how to push their buttons, how to motivate.
Right.
And our staff was really good at that.
Right. Now, I can't let you out of this building because I have to ask. 1 through 10, 10 being the most surprised.
Okay.
And I know you weren't there at the time, but just being that you were a Hall of Famer Patriot, how shocked were you 1 to 10 when you heard about Aaron Hernandez being arrested for murder?
Super shocked because I didn't play with Aaron, but every time I was around the program, he was quiet. I didn't get that from him, but I can't sit here and lie and say I didn't hear about like the history of what he was trying to be outside of football.
Right.
And I wasn't involved in his personal life.
Right.
I wasn't around him personally. My interactions was just like, at the time when I got done was media.
Right.
And of course, I know guys still in the organization. I know guys on the team. And I have those relationships, but that's not something, if somebody's telling me something personally, I'm not going to.
Right.
Regardless if I'm in the media or not, I'm not just going to go out there and put everything out there. Like, that's just not who I am. Because I value my relationships. And when you have personal conversations with people and they trust you with stuff, you got to keep your credibility and stuff like that. But I was surprised to the extent that it went and what happened. And, it's kind of unfortunate because there's a lot of people involved. There's the families that lost, somebody that, is tragic. There's that, his family who lost, him, and all the different things that was going on. So there's a lot of things that, that are attached to that whole situation. That's unfortunate for all parties. So it's not a good thing.
It's kind of like when, not to take it back, but like when I was on Soul Train, right? I heard about all kinds of things. It's like
you got to watch the documentary then.
I gotta,
because that stuff, a lot of that stuff comes out.
Does it really?
Yeah.
And I heard a lot, but I was kind of like you. I just wasn't in those circles. I purposely kept myself from certain things.
Right.
And I'm thankful. I'm thankful, but I would, because the Soul Train girls would come back after one taping, and I'd hear this, and I'm like, really?
Right.
And I say that to say, I think a lot of times the inner circles, we hear things. And then it comes out years later. But like a lot of people knew,
this is what people
rumblings about
this
things.
This is what people have to understand, though. The entertainment and the sports world is super, super small.
Yeah.
Okay? Everything is going to be magnified because you have a name, because you're in a certain situation, because you have a certain status,
Yeah.
And regardless of however you look at it, you're under the microscope, and whatever you do is going to come out. I've been in my own situations, and I'm responsible as a man. I'm not always going to say I'm at fault or this or that, but throughout my whole entire life. But you got to understand, when you carry a certain status or you're in the light, regardless of what goes on, people are going to have comments. They're going to be in your personal life. There's a lot of things that are attached to that.
Yeah.
What people also don't understand is like you're still real people.
Right.
You're still a real person that was that's just what you did.
Right.
With Soul Train. These athletes are real people. They have personal lives. They go through real life situations. Yep. They have trials and tribulations. They go through real life shit.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. They expect you to be perfect, and you're not, because if there's a small community of us.
Right.
And you're just on a platform.
Right.
And you say, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. You can't talk about the real life things people go through and how to handle it or whatever until you're in those shoes.
Right.
Or until something happens to you. Because it happens all the time.
Right.
I'm just not talking about Joe, because Joe's not in the limelight, so nobody really cares.
100%.
Or it doesn't come up.
100%.
We talked about that, off camera, like the Michigan situation.
Dude,
I get it. I mean,
what is happening in Michigan?
But listen.
But it's happening everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Exactly.
It's in the boardrooms. It's in offices.
Dude,
it's where it's in the entertainment. Like you can't.
This is nothing new.
You can't open up Instagram and not see stuff from entertainment, rap moguls, businessmen.
Yep.
Like turn on CNN.
Yeah, they're on the jumbotron.
There's people. Yes. They are regular people who live their regular lives, who go through things, but it's because of their title or the organization they're in or the platform. And as that person, you have to understand that.
Yeah.
Like you do have to understand that and realize that regardless.
Right. Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but life still happens regardless of your status or what you have and what's going on outside of, your workplace.
I mean, some of the greats have gone through so many things like this. I mean, Tiger Woods to, we could name
go down the line.
All down the line, In
every field. It's not just sports and entertainment, in every single field.
100%. And speaking of controversy and these type of things, I'm a big music fan. And this is crazy, but it shows that I love music. I was like, okay, I know you got the 3 Super Bowls. I want to see who was playing at the halftime shows. And
it's dope, right? And
dude, you had a good list. You had U2.
You do the
Paul
pregame.
McCartney. Yeah, you had some good ones.
Yeah.
But then the big one happened. The malfunction of all malfunction between Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. Yeah. I know this sounds crazy, but here you are winning, the 3rd Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Did you feel like that kind of overtook a little, or not at all? Like it was a little crazy for a minute.
You're going to talk about it because it's Janet.
It's Janet.
Janet.
I love Janet.
Right.
I mean, I have to say that. Like, I am a
and
Janet Jackson fan.
We didn't get to see the show. Right.
And you didn't even get to see it, right? No. You didn't even try to peek
Janet.
out? I know.
We did. Like, there's some,
Did you ever try to peek out?
I think, Janet performed. I think Beyonce did the national anthem at one. I'm not sure. When we played in Houston, I believe.
I don't know who did
I don't know which one it was, but you hear about it, but
you're like, I got to win a Super Bowl.
We're there for work.
I know.
We're there for
See,
work.
Look at me talking about music when you're trying to get a ring.
We heard about all that afterwards. It wasn't a distraction for us.
You're like, whatever.
For the fans, it's great.
Yeah.
But it
didn't change your ring.
The
third
not
one.
That one.
Not
at
that
all.
one. Before we go to the next thing, I do want to ask you. So just talking about Brady and all the things, the comedy roast.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Dope. I was there.
You were?
I was sitting. Did you watch it?
I did, but
I was sitting right behind him.
Oh my! Wait, that's right.
How do you not know?
Well, back then it was a while. I haven't watched it recently.
Right. Go back and.
I gotta go check it out.
I didn't.
Were you dying?
I was dying. It was hilarious.
Tell me.
They did a great job.
It was literally one of the best moments. Not just for a documentary or a comedy. It was one of the best things on film, I think, in years.
Right.
It was hilarious.
I think he broke records. I mean, for attendance, because they did it. They did it at the Forum, which I don't know how many roasts there have been at a facility like that.
Between Kevin, Nikki Glazer, by the way, there's a tie in there.
She is amazing. She was amazing.
What was your favorite joke? Which one did you lose your mind at?
All of them. I think just her being able to like peel back and say what the fuck ever.
Oh my God,
was great. And then Kevin, he's like one of my favorites. He's hilarious. Like,
oh my God,
just his responses to the stuff that was going on was hilarious. I thought the production was amazing. I thought the grouping of all the different comedians along with Kevin narrating it. I think the ability for Tom to peel back for fans and for people to say, fuck it, I'm gonna let it fly.
Let's go.
Like I'm gonna drink some champagne. I'm gonna drink some champagne.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it go. I think that was what everybody enjoyed, to see like there was pretty much, he was just like, whatever it is, no rules. I'm gonna let you guys go at it and have a good time. And I think there's a, when you're showing that humility part of you and saying, I'm human, like nobody's perfect to the point we're making.
Right.
We all make mistakes. We all go through shit.
Right.
And to have it played out on the national stage with everybody watching was amazing. It was an amazing moment.
Even Kevin, like the karate instructor. I mean, I just remember him leaning at the karate instructor.
Oh, it's funny, man. Dude. And then have your teammates there to support, and to get on there and tell stories. And
how cool you got to be there.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a great moment.
Awesome.
That was a great moment. That was history.
And it's so, it just dawned on me, you being on the defense and Tom being on the offense. There must have been a part like you come off the field and you'd be like, I'm gonna let him handle it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of teams don't have that. Right. Where you can just be like, I'm gonna let him handle it. Am I wrong on that?
Well, there, in football, especially with our team, we understood the defense wasn't going to always, even though we had a great defense when Tom took over, you're not going to always have a great day in the office.
Yeah.
And you're going to need that support from your offense. The offense isn't always going to have a great day in the, the office where they're going to put up 35, 40 points. So they're going to need you to stop. So it's a team thing. And we did a great job of playing off of each other. And Tom was super close to the defense. Mm-hmm. When he came in, he was super close to the defense when he came in, and because we're the ones kind of running the show at the time, and we were the ones doing all the stuff in the weight rooms and this and that, and he was right in there getting it, getting after it. Yeah, he was getting after it. He was determined. He was determined. Nobody can take credit for his work ethic and for his mindset and how great in his head at the time when nobody knew he wanted to be and what he was going to do and sacrifice to be that great.
Yeah.
But him. And we saw it. But that's the true definition of a team. Mm-hmm. It's not always going to be the defense, not always going to be the offense, but together, or special teams, but together we got to figure it out and do whatever it takes to get this dub.
I really, coming from a fan, what I loved about his leadership is he seemed everything you just said, but like he also seemed like he really motivated the entire team, but also got on their ass when shit wasn't going right.
Nobody's
and that's what I want to see from my quarterback.
Nobody's above that.
No.
Nobody was above that. No matter who you are, no matter when you was drafted, how many Pro Bowls, how much you're making, none of that shit matters.
Right.
At the end of the day,
do your job.
Do your job. That's what we came up with that.
See, you like that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Especially coming from a 49er
that's
fan.
Right.
But everybody has to be held accountable.
Yeah.
But you got to be doing if you're going to call somebody out, you better be damn sure you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Right?
Yeah, you're doing your job.
Exactly. Well, after 3 Super Bowl rings, you had to, I know you went to one other team and then you
can say it, the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. How was your time at Cleveland?
It was good. Not good to the point because we didn't win. I mean, we had one year we went 10-6. Yeah. But the AFC was so good, we still didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. But it was great for the city, and I would say I learned a lot being there.
It's a hard transition.
It was hard because the culture was different.
Right.
And the guys in the locker room didn't understand what it took to play at a certain level or to be good or what you needed to do. And it was just like I had 3 years there. It wasn't enough. to try to incorporate culture and say, hey, man, we're doing things the wrong way. The one thing I never tried to do when I was there was talk about the Patriots. This is what we did with the like, guys don't want to hear that, and it's kind of annoying. So I never did that. I just actually did the things, personally, that I did when I was a Patriot. And guys like DeQuell Jackson and Cam and Dre Davis and a lot of people start to buy in, and kind of it started to become contagious. But the winning culture and how to win and all those things, it has nothing to do with a name or this. It's just a willingness to want to go and do it. Do the things, like I said, the process. Do the things that's outside of actually playing in the game to put you in position to win. And it's hard when you don't have a locker room full of guys to buy into that, or they don't understand that, or they have to learn that. The good thing is Belichick took a core group of guys, a foundation from the teams that was already there that he believed in, and then we built that. Those guys had that, and then he built around that. When it came to free agency and drafting and all the different things, and everybody was on the same page. I went to a place where everybody was already there, and they were doing things a certain way for so long. Now you got to break all the bad habits. You got to break all the bad things that we're not doing, and you know it because you've seen it. And you've done it.
You're like, man.
And you're like, this ain't it.
But then you're like, this isn't my lane. I'm not the coach. I'm not this. I got to just be me. And
you got to be you, and you got to lead by example. Like, just, hey guys, we got to do, all that. Sometimes it just doesn't work for everybody. You just got to do what you do. And if they see you playing at a high level, or then at some point they come to you and say, all right, man, tell us, what is it? What are we doing wrong? What needs to happen?
I in my world, we call it attraction, not promotion. Right? Yeah. It's a big part of, I've been sober 17 years, and just something I've always heard. Thank you. Appreciate that. Attraction, not promotion. Like you said, a lot of people don't want to hear it. But they'll watch you, and you'll be something that they just catch onto just by watching you, doing what you do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But you retired.
I did.
You finally said, I've had enough. How hard was it to go from playing 11 years, right?
15.
15, I'm sorry, 15 years.
I did 12 in New England and 3 in Cleveland.
That's right, 15 years, I apologize. That's like your whole world. Was that a hard transition to say, it's time to move on and put the cleats up and stop? You didn't really do a lot of trash talking, I'm not sure about, but say, I'm gonna call it a day.
It was to the point, not because I didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. Like I was satisfied with that and what I did on the field and the hard work I put in and all the things. It was a grind to do all that stuff, but it was tough because I was so used to being on a schedule, and I was programmed to work out, to do this, to do that, like year in, year out for 15 years. Like I had a time frame in my head. Okay, now it's time to do this. Now it's time to go there. Okay, I have off season. Now this is what I'm doing. Like the schedule. And mentally, it just became a part of my everyday life. That's what it is. So I think it was, for most players, that's the thing now. Like, okay, you're not on this regimen anymore. You're not on this program. Now, you got real life, you got family, you got kids, you got this, you got that. Like, and if you don't have other stuff going on, or you don't transition right into something, then you're kind of sitting around thinking about what you were doing, and that becomes the tough part.
Because you miss the camaraderie, right?
You miss the camaraderie,
room,
you miss all that. You miss the talks with the guys, you miss the meetings, you miss, the dinners, you miss, getting prepared during the week, the joking around, all the stuff that goes into to being, a part of a team.
Now, I was never on a Super Bowl team of any kind, but I loved the talking, the friendships that came out of teammates. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't even imagine 15 years of that with amazing people that you were surrounded, and you were amazing as well. And to do all the things you did on the field. I mean, so many guys, I feel bad for Max Crosby. This guy I mean, such an amazing player.
Right.
But they won 2 games.
Think
so
about it, though. There's a lot of players that play.
So you're lucky.
On teams that are great players. You know, I was just watching, and I was looking at Myles Garrett, who played for my old team in Cleveland.
Yes.
And he's a generational player.
Amazing.
He's an amazing player, and I think he's 1 sack away from breaking the all-time sack record.
Is
Michael
he one
Strahan,
more? Yeah.
He's 1 away.
Wow.
With 3 games,
3 games.
to go.
He's
So he'll probably destroy that record
this week.
Yeah.
This week.
But a guy, and I've worked with him out, in the offseason, a guy who really wants to win, a guy who probably deserves to win, who gives full effort, who trains like crazy in the offseason to put himself in position to break records and to be as dominant he's been since he's been in the league. Like, it's tough. Everybody doesn't have a Cinderella story. There are more players in the league, whether it's NBA, baseball, football, that have that story of not winning, have personal success but not winning, championships. And that's
Dan Marino, right?
Yeah, but that is supposed to be the reason why you play the game, a team sport.
Yeah.
And some players don't care. Some players just like hey, I made the Pro Bowl, or I had this many catches or this many yards or this many tackles. But for the true team guys that want to win championships or are in it for that, they want to win.
Mm-hmm.
You mix and Max. I know his story. I know where he comes from.
Right.
How he's persevered and some of the things he went through.
My sober brother.
Yeah. Some of the things he's went through.
That's why I think I have a thing for him as well.
And he wants to win. He works his ass off, off season, during the season, and he's a great player. But sometimes you're like a product of your environment, and it's frustrating as a player when you're doing everything you
could have been in Dallas with Jerry Jones.
I know.
Just saying.
Which ain't winning either right now.
Oh my God.
Everybody wants them to win so well.
God.
I mean, the media, I think it's always great to get clicks when you talk about Dallas, but right now they're in a situation where they just lost, right, to Minnesota.
They just lost. So that's a wrap.
So it's a wrap.
Let me ask you a question. How would you have felt if you were Micah with what happened with Jerry Jones, where he just traded him to Green Bay? How would you have felt if that was
I think Micah did a great job. I think there's a lot more he probably could have said.
He handled it really well.
I think he handled it really well. And it's frustrating when he's another generational player. He's a great player, and he's a game changer. There are great players.
Yep.
And there's players that, make a lot of plays or whatever. And then there's game changers, regardless of what position you are. He's a game changer.
Right.
And I think when you have a special player like that, then you have to handle him a little bit different. And I think it was kind of a circus when you start talking about, well, I'm talking to you and not the agent and whatever else went. I don't have all the facts.
Right.
But everybody knows in that world, when you're negotiating, you could say whatever you want to say to me, but when it's time to handle the business, you have to talk to my representation.
100%.
And I think Micah is, he's outspoken. And I think he handled it. He bottled up as much as he could.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it worked out for him. And I guess it worked out for the Cowboys because they got some other really good players on their defense. But, if he wanted to be a Cowboy and that's where he wanted to stay, I just think at a player like that, you got to figure out how to keep him.
Yeah.
And try and build around him. But there's great players that leave organizations, and sometimes it's
Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, it's not Debo. You guys lost
Debo.
a couple good players. Sometimes you got to do that, in order to have continued success and room on the cap or whatever it is business-wise you need to do. But it worked out for both parties, I would say.
Yeah. Sadly, he got hurt yesterday.
He did.
So he's going to be out.
Yeah, I was sad for him.
I'm sad for him, too.
Because this is a team that probably could have made a deep run in the playoffs.
For sure. I mean, you never know, but it's going to be a lot. They're going to look like last year versus what they could have looked like this year, right?
They still got a really good defense,
They do.
Rashawn Gary, they got some good cornerbacks. They got good D linemen. They got a good defense. So hopefully they can continue to carry the torch and play for him. What we do for our brothers, when somebody goes down,
right? next man up.
Next man up.
Right?
I mean, it's a cliche, but it's true.
But your team was really good at next man up.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys lived, and I always tell when I talk, everybody knows I'm a diehard Niner fan, but when I would ever talk about the Patriots, I would say, look, Bill has that coaching staff on point because when somebody went out, there was already somebody coming up.
Preparation.
Preparation.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what y'all did. I don't need to be in the locker room, but it showed in every playoff game and every Super Bowl. Not every Super Bowl, but a lot of the Super Bowls where you guys, I mean, the coaching staff and the mentality was very clear, and that's why you guys were able to get the rings that you guys did, Was it harder to get the third one from the first one?
Yeah, because we had just won. So going back to back is probably the toughest part. Yeah, and every team plays, regardless of the team's record, they're going to play their best ball against you.
Yeah.
So you got to be prepared for that. A team can have three wins.
Yeah.
And, you already know you're going to get their championship game level, and they're going to play at a high level because they're playing against you. And it's tough. Again, there's a lot of things that are happening. Don't become complacent. Don't expect it to just happen because it happened last year. There's a lot of things that play. So you got to have mature guys on your team that understand that.
Yep.
The work has to go, higher.
Right.
Believe it or not, like we did more when we were winning and we were in those situations. We started to push ourselves more because we knew that everybody was, they were coming for that spot.
Oh, you got a bullseye.
You got a bullseye.
Especially the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean.
And everybody hated us. Why? Because we didn't talk in the media. We won a lot of games.
A lot.
And, we came up with the Patriot way or whatever. So everybody despises
And Bill didn't help with his press conferences,
right.
by the way.
He's not going to give you
but
anything.
But you love it.
He's not going to give you anything. And he took a lot of the pressure because you guys were talking about Bill and the way he's handling press conferences and not worrying about what we were saying.
Yep.
So,
true.
They're the machine and everything was happening the way it was supposed to, but it's just tough.
Did you ever hear the rumor that Bill wanted Jimmy G? And I see a grin. And he was kind of like their relationship between Tom and Bill were kind of, I maybe thought Tom was getting too old.
Yep.
You want to say anything about that?
I just heard it.
Yeah.
And hypothetically, this is what I heard.
Okay, I know you can't say much.
Yeah,
but
I
you
mean,
I don't.
Again, here's the thing: if you draft a guy second round, at some point when your quarterback is up in age, you got to have a successor.
Right.
You talked about it. Brett Favre had Aaron Rodgers as a successor. There's a lot of quarterbacks that have you draft in order to be able to take over. You see this all over the league. You saw it in Minnesota. You see it all over. And I think with Jimmy G, they offered him a deal.
Yeah.
I think a 3-year deal. The funny thing is, Tom and Jimmy G had the same agent.
That's wild.
So that's wild.
That's wild.
So maybe I think they offered him a 3-year deal for a substantial amount of money. And they figured Tom probably wasn't going to be playing at a certain level.
Yep.
But here's the one thing.
Tom wasn't ready to go.
Here's the one thing you got to remember about Tom and other great players. You don't dictate how well they're going to be playing.
Right.
For how long. They dictate that.
Right.
And a lot of times we get caught up in, he's 38 or he's 30. That means nothing. Let the production dictate where a player is.
Right.
But anyway, so I think when they offered Jimmy G that, the 3 years, it was kind of like, here's the succession plan. We're going to give you a lot of money, which was a lot of money, 3 years. And when Tom kind of passes the torch or we say, okay, Tom, thanks for all you've done.
Right.
You're going to be the next guy in line.
Yeah.
And I think Jimmy G's agent was like, well, you going to do that? Or you can go to the 49ers and sign for a boatload of money.
Oh, my God.
And be the starter and create your own legacy and be the man or whatever. What would you do?
Right.
You would take that.
Yeah.
And then Tom was still, being Tom, playing at a high level, playing great.
Yep.
And then when that whole thing, kind of happened, and then Tom ended up leaving, he showed you he was still that
he
guy.
He got another one.
Got another one. He's still that guy. And Jimmy G went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he ran up against Pat Mahomes. You don't want to talk about that?
No.
Okay.
Dante Hall made me talk about it for like 30 minutes when he was on the podcast. I'm like, oh, we're going to go.
Well, he's the Kansas City, ex-Kansas City Chief.
Yeah, so, we went back and forth. No, I remember too well.
Yeah.
Too well.
Well, you had one half of great football.
I know.
Where you were winning.
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, I believe. I'm faithful.
Yeah.
And we are playing in Levi's this year. And your
record is good this year.
Our record's good. We have no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner.
I know.
We didn't
That's
have.
The hard part.
We've had a lot of injuries. Like, for us to be at 10-4 right now is amazing.
It is.
And I feel like everyone laughs at me, and I'm like, don't laugh. Don't. We talked about it when we were texting. The sleeper is the Niners to me.
One of.
Yeah. Who do you think the other one?
Well, I don't think they're sleepers anymore because they're kind of like leading the division. The Bears was like nobody gave the Bears a shot.
Nope.
And they're at the top of the NFC and top of their division. Nobody thought Denver was going to do what they're doing. They're 12-2?
Yep.
They're like the best team in the AFC. The Patriots, I know we've been talking a lot about them, but nobody thought we'd be talking like Drake May for MVP.
The comeback QB1s.
Right. And what are they, 11-3? The Rams are playing phenomenal.
Lights out right now. It hurts me. It pains me to say, but
but you have to. You have to give
playing
props.
lights out.
And Stafford could be the MVP. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are playing good ball.
Yeah.
The Colts were playing great ball.
The Colts.
And for Daniel Jones, another player who was nobody they thought he was probably done, and he went there and was playing great. And it's unfortunate he got injured.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of quarterbacks and teams that just came out of nowhere.
And it's wild because these guys are almost thrown to the pasture. But sometimes it just takes a different environment.
It does.
Sometimes it's the coach and they don't gel, or sometimes it's the offense scheme or whatever it is. And it's just wild to see. And I love underdogs. I've always loved underdogs. Right. So I love to see, I was shocked. I told you this. I was shocked that Sam didn't stay with the Vikings because
how about the 49ers when he was there? You guys didn't sign
Why
him.
You got to bring up my team?
Because you're skipping.
I know. Well, I am.
You're he was there. You guys had him.
Could have
did a 3-year deal for a good number, and it would have been.
It's a good point. I don't think he did as well on our team that he did on the Vikings, but it's true. Like, he could have been.
I think he would have did well. But I look at what Kyle Shanahan does with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And offenses, and how he puts them in position, and how he's just like, he's a conductor, man. This is what we're doing. This is go here. He conforms a system. He has things in place. The way he goes in week to week and does his scheming, like, he's one of the best. So I think, like you said, if you got the right guy in place that can help develop and put these quarterbacks or players in place, then
I really want. Not only do I want the 6th ring for my Papa Joe, who's up there in heaven watching down right now, and selfishly me, but really I want it for the players. George Kittle, just one of the best tight ends in the game.
Yep.
Kyle, who's gone through so much, 2 Super Bowl losses. We won't even talk about the Falcons.
I know.
I'm telling you right now, Willie, if we go to the Super Bowl, I'm going to find a way to be there.
That's crazy.
And when we win, I'm going to say.
You have to say that.
When we win, I will be crying like a baby.
Is that 16 on your neck for Montana?
It is.
Wow.
It is. Well, there's a story about that. So my dad's name was Joe.
Okay.
And he was a diehard, obviously, Niner fan. He had season tickets since 1978 in the stick. And his favorite player, of course, was Joe Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And every single card I've ever received from my dad, birthday, Christmas, he would always write, "Love, Dad." And before hashtags were cool, he would write number 16.
I love it.
And so this is a nod to my Papa Joe.
That's
I've never met Joe Montana yet.
Right.
One day it'll happen. But yeah, it's a nod to my dad. And if he only knew what his daughter has started.
I love that.
I love
that. Yeah.
He was such a good guy. He was funny as hell, too. We went to the games together. This is like random, but we I was there when we lost to the Giants, NFC Championship, 5 rows from the field, and we were on the end zone. So like I watched, I think it was Kyle Williams. Was it Kyle Williams? Fumbled the punt return.
Oh, wow.
All he had to do was catch the ball, and we would have won. We would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Tough.
Oh, but having those moments with your dad,
right?
There's nothing like it.
Nah, there's nothing like it at
And let's
all.
talk about you, girl dad.
Yeah.
Like, now that you're retired, what do you find? I'm going to guess that the happiness that you have now is wrapped around a lot of your family.
A big part of it.
And giving back.
Yeah, giving back. I'm a girl dad. I have 3 daughters, and they all play volleyball.
Love
I have
it.
one at USC. She's a middle. She's a senior now, and I've watched her like grow up from high school to club to play, in college. And my middle daughter's at Howard. She plays, doing great in school, and my baby's at Sierra Canyon High School, and she's playing volleyball at a high level. So being able to shift all the attention to my daughters and be able to watch them and be a big-time cheerleader for them and, become a volleyball dad.
I love that.
The number 1 sport in women's sport. I know you love football and flag and all that, but it's actually volleyball.
No, I know.
And
I was horrible at it, by the way.
It's phenomenal. You probably what, libero?
It hurt right here.
You were the passing. Or you a libero?
What
position did you play?
I didn't even get that
far.
I didn't even get that far.
Recreational.
I was like this. I'm like, I'm out.
Right.
I'm out.
It's tough.
But I appreciate I actually love watching volleyball though.
Yeah.
By the way, we have Volleyball Sexy coming out. That's a whole nother, maybe we should talk. Anyway. Yeah.
That's just the joy I get now from supporting them and being around them. And, they wasn't old enough to be in the stands and watching me play and all those different things. So they kind of get the highlights and they hear people talk about it. And now they got Google, you can YouTube stuff and Google and do all that. But it's a joy for me to be able to pour into them and what they're doing and support and be there. And the biggest fan on the sideline, my gear cheering for the girls. So that's been great for me.
I love that. And I know this is a weird question, but are they NFL fans? Are they not so much? I know it might be weird,
they
but
more basketball.
Are they?
Yeah, they more
are they Laker?
No, they college. I would say college and stuff like that. They're more like basketball. They're more into basketball because they grew up in school and watching the basketball. If they know somebody, they'll support them in football, but they're more basketball.
They're more basketball? Because I was going to be like, if you guys all go to games, how do I get in that world and go to a game with you guys?
I took my middle daughter to a game. I couldn't take my oldest daughter because she was in a tournament playing. And my youngest daughter was in school getting ready for finals and stuff. So I took my middle daughter for the first time.
Oh,
and we
did
watched
you?
it. We went to New England. I was the keeper of the bell. I run the bell. I did all that. And she was able to see the fans and my interaction, and they still remember and being on the field. And like her, I call him my nephew. Alex Austin who played for me but grew up in Long Beach, actually plays for the New England Patriots now. So she was able to see how it works and be on the field during pregame and then actually watch a game. So that was special for me, for them to at least be able to experience where dad
came from.
Where he came from.
What a big deal
happened.
dad was and is still.
Yeah.
I mean, people, I'm sure, recognize you just like I did. Yeah. Maybe not at Polly Pies, but all over the place. So before I let you go, I know you got something going on. You love to give back. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, just December 23rd, we're going to be at the Boys and Girls Club, Petra Lane in Long Beach, and we're going to give back. I always team up with a company that I'm a part of, which is Legends, and we give apparel and we give toys to kids and families, unfortunate families that need that extra little help or push for the holidays. And we're going to do that December 23rd. During Thanksgiving, we gave our Thanksgiving giveaway. We don't call it turkey because we actually give away groceries.
Oh, okay.
And we did that, during Thanksgiving. We gave stuff away. And I just think when you come from wherever you come from, it's important to let young folks know and kids know that come back and give back. Mm-hmm. Like if you have a platform, if you have the resources or you have a name or whatever, it's not always giving money or whatever the case may be. A lot of it is giving time.
Right.
And if you're in position to come back and give back, do that because a lot of kids that I've either gave scholarships or books or we've given, these toys or visited hospitals, whatever it is I've done in the past, I always run into somebody to say, hey, I remember when you came and you did this, or this is inspirational. Thank you for this or that, or a family you've helped. I think is super, super important. So that's always been ingrained in me and wanting to help and support and give back. And I think it's important to the community. So I take pleasure in doing that. So Boys and Girls Club, December 23rd, we're going to be giving toys and clothes away to kids and families.
I love that. And if I can contribute, I'd love to do that as well. Maybe we'll have to
come by, help chaperone families and give away toys. Or
I'll be just coming back from the Niner Bear game.
Yeah. Oh,
wait, it's right before that, actually.
It's right before that.
Right before that. Yes, let's do that.
All right.
I got to get your prediction. We got the playoffs.
Uh-oh.
Talk to me.
Already? I thought we had like 3 more weeks
left. We're getting there. We're getting there by the time this airs. So you're going to be ahead of the game. What are your thoughts?
Where at? Where you want me to start?
Let's start with who do you think is going to be in playing for the Super Bowl?
That's tough.
Yeah.
Because injuries happen. You just
do.
Like Green Bay
I just wanted you to say the Niners. That's what I was really getting at.
Let me say this.
Who do you think?
I got to be real with you. I don't think the Niners will be playing in this Super Bowl. Like you mentioned some of the injuries, and those are like crucial. Like you got to be playing great defense, and you got to be able to run the ball, play great defense, and not make mistakes and be healthy.
One game at a time, Willie.
Being healthy, though, is the big part of it. You want to be getting healthy or getting healthier going, into this last quarter of the season.
But the good news is we haven't had these guys for most of the season, so we're
I get it, but everything
I'm not going to talk them out of it.
In the playoffs.
I know.
You're not going to be playing just average teams. You're going to be playing the best teams. But I'm not saying you can't.
No.
I'm not saying you can't.
One game at a time. Just get me to the wild card. That's all I ask.
I don't know.
Who do you think, though? Really? Who
like
deserving right now?
I told you the Rams. Seattle can make a push. Green Bay can make a push. You guys can make a push. The Bears, if they keep playing solid.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
I know, but
Ben Johnson comes 1 year and he's got him in the Super Bowl?
Coach of the year. Like, who like, you got
I think
how
it's
many
Ben
candidates?
or Kyle. I think it would be Ben or Kyle.
Ben?
I think because Kyle.
You're always going to say Kyle.
No, I don't actually always say Kyle, by the way. But
how about Mike Vrabel? You're 11-3 with the Patriots.
Him too. Those 3, I think, would be top.
Ben, and then
not
who else?
Sean. Not
Sean?
Because he's always in the conversation. That's what I'm just saying.
You know what? I see where you're going there. I see what you're
going. I respect Sean a lot, actually, especially being in the NFC West. Like I watch all. You're always gonna be paying attention to your division. I love him as a coach, but I was thinking more of like the coaches that
nobody gave a shot.
Nobody gave a shot because of the injuries.
Right.
Ben just came out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, out of Detroit. But like I'm just saying, Sean's been. He has a Super Bowl.
Detroit's
he knows how to do it.
Another team that's like you. I mean, they're not playing great now, but you just like you don't want to just give up on them.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't just say they're not going to do this because they're talented.
What about the Bills? Isn't this their year?
It's been the Bills. It's been the Bills year for the last 3-4 years.
Oh my God!
We've been talking about the Bills. Like when are they gonna? They just haven't done it.
I know. I was pulling for the Colts. Niners aside, I love the game and I love the passion. But I was, because of Carly especially. But again, I love underdogs.
Isn't that great?
I love a woman.
She's really into it. She's not playing around.
No.
Like I give her props. Like she's out there. She's taking notes. She's observing. She has her input.
Yep.
Like she's known the game already.
Right.
She's just now in position to go out and do, what she's been learning for so many years.
Yeah.
And I think that's great for football. I think it's great for the Colts because you saw them just keep getting better and keep getting better.
Yep.
And I love, Chris Ballard. I love him, the GM there. What he's doing with the team and constantly making moves and trying to put it together. So it's great. I just hate that Daniel Jones got hurt. Because I wanted to see him just keep going and getting better.
I wanted to see how far they could go this year.
But I'm not saying they can't go far.
I know. But it's going to be more difficult.
And then the Texans coming out of nowhere.
D'Amico.
I mean, like,
I know.
There's a lot of teams that are sleepers.
Yeah.
That defense is insane with the
D'Amico.
Texans. That defense is crazy.
I was not happy when we lost D'Amico. Let me say that right now. That's a hard thing about being a football fan.
You lost two defensive coaches. You got one back though.
Robert, I was like, Robert,
you
come
got
on.
him back,
You went
though.
to the Jets though. Come on.
I know, but you got him back.
But you knew how that was gonna end. But thank God
he got his
back.
opportunity. That we talked about that.
I know.
When you get your opportunity, you gotta take it.
I know. Hey, I understand that, but it's the Jets.
I get it, and I feel that because I was in that division, so we don't like nothing
good
about the Jets.
No, and my ex was a Jet fan, so I always say fuck the Jets.
There you go.
I'm good with it. I'm good with it.
I know coaches that don't even say their name.
Right?
They hate them so much.
Oh my God! But again, I'm glad we got Robert back. He just brings something to the game.
Yeah, he's great at what he does.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a fire, and I love that. I love to see the fire on the sidelines.
And for him to be able to make those adjustments with other players because of the major injuries he's had to some of your better players and still keep the train going, that's special.
Yeah.
You got to be able to do that.
We do. Are you going to go to the Super Bowl?
I might.
Maybe.
I mean, it's in
San Jose.
Oh, so if the 49ers is not
I'm trying to get on someone's ticket.
Right.
Somebody needs to take me to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm just saying.
You got to take the show to the Super Bowl.
We might just do that.
You got to take the show. That way you'll have everybody in town.
If I do, you got to come hang out with me on Media Row.
I'll come back.
Okay, we actually, believe it or not, I was actually at the Super Bowl last year.
Were you?
Yeah, on Media Row.
Okay.
So I take it on the show, take it on the road again.
Why not?
Why not? Let's do it.
It's in your backyard.
I don't want to let you go, but I got to let you go. I'm sure you have other things to do. But before I do, I have to ask you what I ask every guest. And even though it's not basketball sexy, I'm a basketball girl. You're a basketball. So I'm going to go who got next. What person, I don't want to steer you anyway, what person do you know that you think would love to talk life, music, football with me that would sit right there with me? Or on Zoom, whoever.
Culture?
Who could we get?
Like,
who would you say, Monica, I got someone for you. This is who I'm going to get.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad.
I know a lot of people.
I know. I'm waiting for a good, don't sleep on me. Give me a good one.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of.
Okay.
So, geez.
Ooh, I like it.
It could be so many people. It could be in the entertainment, in the sports world.
I know. I'm thinking of a few right now.
Throw something out there. Let me see if we're on the same page.
Well, I mean, first of all, because I'm a music person, I'd be like, I have to have. Snoop.
Snoop. I know. He's just so. Maybe you'll get him on Zoom, or maybe you go to.
I'll go wherever.
Maybe
you'll
go to his studio.
I will fly.
Well, he's
wherever.
out here. He's in California, so you don't have to fly.
Well, then
and he has a
jump
green
in your
room.
truck.
He has a production stuff. He has everything.
I would jump in your truck and I'd go.
We'll try to make that happen. We'll reach out. We'll reach out and see.
Or give me a football one just in case. Plan B.
Brady's so tough. I know.
We could try.
I know the whole thing. Like, I know, like, wow. I don't know. I don't want to. I know a lot of
give
guys.
Me one. Okay. Just say to be continued, or one where you're like, I know this one, or we'll do this one. I won't hold you to it.
You put me in this. You put
I
me
like
in the
it.
spot right now.
I like it.
You put me in the spot right now because I like to deliver whatever I say.
Okay, then how about this? To be continued.
To be continued.
To be continued.
So let me think.
Think it through.
Because I don't like to just throw names who are
I
not.
know. Some people do.
And just say that they're just to say it, and then
you
never
I follow up though.
And then you never. I was gonna say you never hear back.
Oh, but I follow up. Hey, I'm coming for you.
All right, let's just say
you.
to be continued.
Let
me put some thought in it.
Okay, that's so sweet of you.
I don't want to put nobody out there.
You know what? No one's
I don't want to put myself out there.
You know what? I love that integrity. Yeah. No one's ever done that.
Yeah.
Actually,
and then not follow through.
You know what? I got to get back to Dante. Who did he tag? We'll have to get back to that.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. A lot
of time we go from the team or the guys we play with and
that's
things
so cool.
like that. But maybe it could be somebody local that I have a relationship with.
Yeah, it's all good. Even if I got nobody, I'm so glad you were here.
I appreciate it, Monica.
It was so much fun talking to you. Yeah. I really hope that we keep this going. And, I'd love to come see your girls play volleyball at some point since they're local as well. I wish them so much luck. Thank you for really supporting football is sexy. You said that from the jump, and let me just say that the first thing he said was, I love supporting women in football. Did you not say that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you said I'm a girl dad, and that's kind of what got us here. And then I'm from LBC.
There you go.
That's a no-brainer, baby.
Homegrown. That's all you had to say.
Oh, my God.
You could have led with that.
I could have led with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start that in the beginning. But wait, I know this is random, but Cardi B? Are you a Cardi B fan now?
I like Cardi B.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I like Cardi B. Where did that come from?
Because I saw my board and it said Cardi B. Don't leave without Cardi B. What's your favorite song? Because she's dating Stefan. That's why.
I know. Oh, that's where you got the
That's
connection.
why. Yeah.
I like Cardi B. You know what I like about her? Her realness.
Yes.
I just like that she's like transparent.
She put out a video.
I know, and she just don't give a what.
No.
About whatever. She lives her life. She doesn't care about public perception, and she lives her life, whether you agree or you don't agree. She does what makes her happy, and I think that we fall short of that. A lot of people fall really short of that these days because we care so much about what the next man or woman thinks, and we don't just be ourselves. We live for the public versus yourself.
Right.
And I think at some point, everybody does what they want to do, so why should you care?
And that's true freedom, is being your authentic self. It's kind of how Football Sexy started, believe it or not.
Really?
People told me that nobody would, if I tried to teach the game, nobody would care.
Why?
Men wouldn't follow me if I said this or...
Please.
And I was like, I'm going to just go out there and be me, and whoever... Like, if I want to put Cardi B on a football reel or I want to put Missy Elliott on a football reel,
what?
I'm going to do it.
Right.
And guess what? We have thousands and thousands of men followers.
Good. And you know what? It's not it doesn't matter who you are. If you're saying the right stuff, it should be well taken. And I don't sit here and be like, "Oh, I'm not listening to her because she didn't play the game or she didn't do that." Like, if you're making valid points, if you're saying things that are conversational that make sense, and if you do your homework and you are a student of the game, why wouldn't you?
Right.
There are more people not in a sport that talk about it that played it or actually did it.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I just love the game, and I never pretend to be something I'm not. I'm a fan of the game, and I'm a fan of what it gave to me. That's why I'm here.
And you have to stick to that.
Yeah.
Because you're true to who you are, and that's respect.
Yeah.
When you try to be something else and people see that, like,
I'm
cool on that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even
now, if you want to go rattle off these stats in 1930,
it ain't just stats. Yeah, anybody could go pull up stats. I was looking around, and you don't have somebody, pulling up stats and
Nothing
just throwing numbers
ear.
at you. All this is just like how you feel about the game and what you love and your passion, and you intertwine it with everything else around it. And we talked about it. Football is family. It really is in so many ways, and it shapes your life, and it gives you, wherever you decide to go outside of sports, it gives you a foundation to be able to do that. So,
look at all it gave you.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Please tell your mom I said hi.
I will.
Let her know.
I am. And when I give her a shirt, I'm going to tell her I did the show. 'Cause she asked me, "Hey, are you going to do it?" I said, "Ma, I got you."
I love it. Well, I got all her sweatshirts, so give her a hug for me.
Thank you.
And as always, keep it
sexy.
That's right. Let's go.